Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Radha Muralidhara Radha Muralidhara Radhe Jaya Radha Muralidhara Radha Muralidhara Radhe Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Gaura Chandra Shri Shri Gaura Chandra Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Nitai Gaura Premanande Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam ततो जायमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Welcome everybody for today's morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, so chapter 7, King of the Nimantrana Varta, text 34. I'll read the verse and then we will have some discussion. Ekadarbhakam adaya swankam aropya bhamini prashnutam payayam asa stanam sneha parikluta. Ekada, once upon a time, Arbhakam, the child, Adaya, taking, Swa, Ankam, on her own lap, Aropya, and placing him, Bhamini, Mother Yashoda, Prashnutam, breast milk oozing out, Payayam Asa, fed the child, Stanam, her breast, Sneha Parikruta, with great affection and love. Translation and the purport is divine this case in Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. One day, Mother Yashoda, having taken Krishna up and placed him on her lap, was feeding him milk from her breast with maternal affection. The milk was flowing from her breast and the child was drinking it. We'll render some short prayers. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam-yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta-padakam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastuti Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. seek the blessings of all the acharyas and the assembled devotees, so that for the next 18 minutes we can discuss something which is beneficial and auspicious. So today we are looking at the last 3 verses of the 7th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, killing of the demon Trinavarta. So the Trinavarta demon is killed, and so the after effects. So everybody discussed how the past time happened, what are the consequences according to their own understandings and their own rasa. Everybody situated in a particular mellow in approaching Lord Krishna. So they have discussed accordingly. And today we'll be seeing how Mother Yashoda, she will be getting a very special experience. So in today's verse, like if you see the last word, Sneha Paripluta. So this is like a very important, I mean, like we can contemplate on. So Srila Prabhupada has translated this word as with great affection and love. So what Mother Yashoda was doing is bhakti or devotional service. What in ISKCON we are all always being bombarded, as we say, or at least reminded that, so we perform devotional service out of various processes. Bhakti is the easiest process. Mother Yashoda is doing that, but how she is doing is what is very important. Sneha Paripluta, with great affection and love. So when we do our japa, like just before the class, all of us were very seriously doing japa, very nice environment. Prabhu was leading. So when we do our chanting, so that is also devotional service. We chant the holy names. And then there is, we hear, Prabhupada Dhun also. It also chants the holy names. Of course, the Prabhupada Dhun machine is spiritual, anything which chants. But at the same time, so it will not develop any mellow. A machine, if it's programmed to chant, it will not develop any mellow. But we have an opportunity to develop that mellow. So when we do that in a proper consciousness and with right mood. And if we forget that, so out of all this, if we forget that particular mood, the essence behind that, so then there is no point. I mean, we will not reap that much benefit, what we have to do, what we can do. So that's why, like the devotional service, so we should, whatever we do, we have to invest our consciousness. So there is one very nice pastime, how we can render this devotional service in various ways. Recently, my wife was sharing, she was reading from His Holiness Lokanath Swami Maharaj book. So Lokanath Swami Maharaj was describing this pastimes of Vitthal. Vitthal is also Lord Krishna, especially in the province of Maharashtra, is very famous in India. So he appeared on a brick. He stood on a brick, and in Marathi, brick means wit. So he stood on a brick. So he's Vitthal. So Lord. So there is one very great devotee of this Vitthal, Lord Vitthal. So his name is Tukaram. So he is always absorbed in singing the glories of this Vitthal and then glorifying. And then sometimes when devotees perform too much devotional service, I mean, there's nothing but too much. So they tend to forget their worldly duties, which is not advised for all of us. We have to be careful. So, and obviously his wife was a little bit angry. Hey, you're not taking care of the family. You're not, maintaining, I mean, not so responsible. What is this? So always she keeps on complaining. And then one day it happened that there's a time for offering. We do 6 offerings for our Radha Muralidhar. So he's also doing offerings to his Vitthal. He has a deity of Vitthal. And then milk is supposed to be offered. So she brought the milk, and then Tukaram said, "Hey, the milk is too hot. So we should not serve this milk, so hot milk. Lord will get burnt, and his lips will get burnt." He said, "Hey, what are you saying? This black boy, who she has faith that this is Krishna. That much, even though out of she is so much frustrated, he understands, okay, this person is Krishna, this Vitthal is Krishna, but this black boy is separating me and my husband. So that's what is her understanding. So this black boy, you said that previously when he was in Vrindavan, there was a forest fire. And then the Gopas were in anxiety. And then the Krishna, all of a sudden, in one gulp, he swallowed the entire forest fire. For a person who could swallow the entire forest fire, so what is this hot milk? This is nothing. So he should drink it. Tukaram could not, because his wife is so much demanding. So Tukaram was so unhappy. But yeah. And then imagine Krishna. Krishna is there waiting. Because Tukaram is so much performing devotional service. Tukaram, the deity manifests. The extent we perform devotional service, the deity manifests. So Vittal is waiting. What to do. If I don't take this milk, so then my devotee will be at stake. His wife will chastise him more. So better take this hot milk in order to please his wife, so that my devotee will be safe. So that's what Lord goes to that much extent. And then he took that milk, and then it is said, actually, Vittal's lips got burnt. Lord is ready to take that much pain in order to protect his devotee. And do you think she's not performing service? Yes, Tukaram's wife is performing service, but is it in love? Is it in affection? Is it just take Lord? So that is. So we perform devotional service. So what should be our mood? So constantly we have to keep aligning, so how we should perform. And then how can we get that particular, proper mood of Tukaram? So we chanted in the beginning prayers. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavasevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya. So the simple principle what Srila Prabhupada gave us, there are various things. Tukaram. So that time, so they were having their own approach, but we are fortunate we got Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada gave us a simple approach. Everyday morning program, Bhagavatam class. Just attend Bhagavatam class, do our sadhana. So all that love what Tukaram was manifesting, so it will manifest in our hearts also. So this is the first verse, like Mother Yashoda was trying to serve Krishna with so much love and affection. And then it is said, so that love and affection is manifesting in the form of her, milk. And then Krishna is so eager, very much eager to take that milk. So we will go to the second verse. So I'll just read the verse, no need to repeat. Pritaprayasya janani sutasya jruchirasmitam mukham lalayati raja chumbato dadrushe idam kham rodasi jyoti anikamasha suryendu vahni shvashanam buddhimscha dvipan nadamstat duhitru vanani bhutani yani sthitiranjagamani. Translation. O King Parikshit, when the child Krishna was almost finished drinking his mother's milk, and Mother Yashoda was touching him and looking at his beautiful, brilliantly smiling face, the baby yawned, and Mother Yashoda saw in his mouth the whole sky, the higher planetary system, and the earth, the luminaries in all directions, the sun, the moon, the fire, air, the seas, islands, mountains, rivers, forests, and all kinds of living entities, moving and non-moving. Purport. By the arrangement of Yogamaya, Krishna's pastimes with Mother Yashoda were all regarded as ordinary. So here was an opportunity for Krishna. So Krishna got an opportunity. Imagine Krishna is the person who gives us all opportunities, but here Krishna got an opportunity. So here was an opportunity for Krishna to show his mother that the whole universe is situated within him. Andar Bahiravastita. So everything, Lord is there in everything, and then everything is there inside the Lord also. So that is how wonderful is Krishna. In his small form, Krishna was kind enough to show his mother the Virat Rupa, the universal form, so that she could enjoy seeing what kind of child she had on her lap. The rivers have been mentioned here as the daughters of mountains. It is flowing of the rivers that makes big forests possible. There are living entities everywhere. There are living entities everywhere. Some of them moving and some of them not moving. No place is vacant. This is special feature of God's creation. So from this purport, we can see, okay, she's feeding, Mother Yashoda is feeding, and all of a sudden, Krishna yawned, and then he showed everything, the universal creation, everything inside his mouth. So what is the purpose? So Lord performs pastimes, and sometimes his pastimes are so, human, we tend to think, okay, Lord Ram is there and Mother Sita is there. And Mother Sita got abducted by Ravana. And Lord Ram is crying. And then we say that, what is this? It's just like, any husband and wife, husband is feeling separation from the wife. So people tend to question. So these are like very ordinary pastimes. And then, when Krishna just turning from Hitar to Titar, the people are celebrating. These are small basic pastimes. What do you make so big? What is so big deal about this? You are discussing that every day in the morning. So 5,000 years ago. So sometimes, so complacency comes, and then we think this is just ordinary pastimes. But so here Prabhupada is said. So here was an opportunity for Krishna to show his mother that the whole universe is situated in him. So when such big things happen, we think, oh, he is something different than us. So we also, there are mothers, they feed their babies, and then we were also children at some point of time. So we also reciprocated. So we make Krishna down to our level, our standard. Okay, we also did, and then Krishna is same as us. But sometimes such pastimes are shown so that people are challenged. Okay, you think you are, also same as Krishna? Okay, just yawn, and then let us see what we can see in your mouth. So it's really, if we yawn, bad smell comes from out of our mouth. Yeah, that's it, nothing else. We sleep, what happens? We get sweat. And then sweat said, what will come? Nothing fresh. But when, Karnadakshay Vishnu sleeps, the universes keep coming out of his body. So that is the greatness. So for us to understand, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, these pastimes, encourage us. What about Mother Yashoda? Now we will see what about Mother Yashoda. Krishna thought Mother, so Prabhupada is writing in the Prabhupada, you see, in his small form, Krishna was kind enough to show his mother the Virat Rupa, the universal form. Why? So that she could enjoy seeing what kind of child she had in her lap. Krishna was thinking Mother Yashoda will enjoy. But did it happen? Let us see what is the thing. We have got 5 minutes left. Saviksha Vishwam Sahasa Rajan Sanjata Vepatu Sammilyam Mrugasha Vakshi Netre Asi Suvismita. Translation. When Mother Yashoda saw the whole universe within the mouth of her child, her heart began to throb, and in astonishment, she wanted to close her restless eyes. So purport is a little bit long, but it's instructive, so we need to read this. Because of her pure maternal love, Mother Yashoda thought this wonderful child playing so many tricks must have had some disease. That's her conclusion. She did not appreciate, please. she did not appreciate the wonders. Krishna is how wonderful is Krishna, but she did not appreciate that. It's for us to appreciate his wonders. For Yashoda Maya, she did not appreciate the wonders shown by the child. Rather, she wanted to close her eyes. Why? She was expecting another danger. And therefore, her eyes became restless like those of deer club. This was all the arrangement of Yoga Maya. The relationship between Mother Yashoda and Krishna is one of pure maternal love. In that love, Mother Yashoda did not very much appreciate the display of Supreme Personality of Godhead's opulences. Sorry, I share screen. Yeah. At the beginning of this chapter, so just read this. In that love, Mother Yashoda did not very much appreciate the display of Supreme Personality of Godhead's opulences. At the beginning of the chapter, there are 2 extra verses sometimes appear. In this way, to chastise and kill the demons, the child Krishna demonstrated many activities in the house of Nanda Maharaj, and the inhabitants of Vraja enjoyed these incidents. So Krishna is killing the demons, and some people are enjoying this pastime. And then to increase the transcendental pleasure of Gopas and Gopis, Krishna, the killer of demons, was thus raised by his father and mother Nanda and Yashoda. And then Sripada Vijayadhwaja Tirtha also adds another verse after this. Parikshit Maharaj then requested Sukadev Goswami to continue speaking such narrations about the pastimes of Krishna so that king could enjoy from them the transcendental bliss. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of 10th canto, 7th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Killing of the Demon, Trinavarta. Okay, so from this purport, the 3rd verse purport, there are some very important things which we can meditate on. So first is, Mother Yashoda obviously did not appreciate all this. So whatever the activities, which we feel, so it's worth contemplating for us. So Mother Yashoda, she is beyond this. She is more into taking care of Krishna, and then she did not, she got more into anxiety. So this is something called as a rasabhas. Like a person is situated in one particular mellow. We are situated in one particular exchange with the Lord, and then so another mellow comes in between. So like let us say we are eating pizza or pasta or something. So it's a proper Italian or whatever, it's a one particular cuisine. And then in all of a sudden somebody offers you pizza or pasta, and then he says, come, take this idli and sambar. Idli and sambar is a South Indian dish. So these flavors are very mild, and then so we have to be very soft. And then idli and hot sambar should be taken hot, and then it's very spicy. So how these both can be clubbed? Maybe later in the evening I will taste. So if you take both together, it is called as it's an improper mixture of taste, and then the mellow what we get also is not good. Similarly, so rasabhas. So Mother Yashoda is so much in the mood of taking care of Krishna, and then such pastimes happen, she doesn't much appreciate. So this is what that is one thing. Even in Mahaprabhu's pastimes also we see. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India, so there is a place called Srirangam. So in Srirangam there is a very great devotee called Venkata, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed in his house for 4 months during the Chaturmasa period. So 4 months he stayed there. So there he was having a discussion. So my dear Venkata, you are such a great devotee. And then Venkata was serving. So he understood Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of God. So he was serving nicely. And one day, Mahaprabhu started teasing him that, Venkata is in the mood of worship of Lakshmi Narayan. So with very much awe and reverence. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu starts speaking. My dear Venkatabhatta, you are so sincere, your family is so sincere, dedicated, you are worshipping Lord Vishnu. But at the same time, why, Mother Lakshmi, the consort of Lord Vishnu, why, she aspires, she's so much, meditating on the pastimes of Krishna, and why she wants to go and join the Rasa dance. Krishna is playing Rasa dance, and then why, Lakshmi ji go and wants to join Rasa dance. She was not allowed the entry, and she's sitting there and doing penance. Oh, I should get entry into the Rasa dance. So why is it like that? And then when Venkataputta hears that, he gets bewildered. And then he's almost about to faint. He said, no, I don't know, these things. So then Mahaprabhu says, okay, nothing like that. So, Lakshmi ji is also, very great devotee. And then she's serving Lord Narayana very nicely. And then he becomes pacified. So what we try to understand is every devotee has a particular rasa or a way in which we interact with the Lord. And then Krishna is so sensitive. That's what Krishna is so sensitive. And then he tries to take care and preserve that particular rasa. So here, when Yashodamai was serving in that maternal affection, with that maternal affection, so he didn't want to, of course, he showed, but Mother Yashoda would not take it. So that is one thing. So she took it in another way. Oh, my dear Krishna is getting danger. And the last part of the purport is something which we have to. So here, there are a couple of shlokas. Srila Prabhupada is telling that the Acharya is trying to, add in this particular context, just to understand for why, Krishna is performing the pastimes and the continuity to the next chapter. Now the question comes, how can we add shlokas to Srimad Bhagavatam? Is the thought authorized? So now, if we ask like that, so because that's there in the purport, Srila Prabhupada has written in the purport, so these shlokas come. So we should understand one thing, that these are acharyas who are directly being, guided by Lord Krishna. Few days ago, we saw in one purport that Trinavarta is coming at this particular time, Ekada. So it's the Sanskrit is just Ekada, once upon a time. But Srila Prabhupada is giving precisely that after 1 year. So from where it is, in Sanskrit it is not written, but Srila Prabhupada is giving so precisely. So the thing is, the idea is, so we take the Acharya's commentaries as it is, just with the faith that Acharyas are being inspired by the Lord, and then, so they have that, broader perspective. So it's, as a practicing spiritualist, so we have to keep that much, faith in the Acharya's commentaries. So, and then Srila Prabhupada is quoting one Madhva Sampradaya Acharya. So, and then, so that particular shloka is kept there in order to establish the connection. So we wind up here. So what we discussed is, first, we saw how Mother Yashoda was serving Lord Krishna with so much love and affection. And it's important, whenever we perform devotional service, we need to wait and then see, am I serving with that love and affection, or I'm just doing to complete my seva schedule? So that is very important. Yeah. So that's, of course, to please spiritual master we do, that is also very good. That is also very good. And the next thing is, we see, how baby yawned, baby Krishna yawned, and then we saw all the, how Mother Yashoda saw all the universes. So the idea is that, Lord performs that pastimes, Hare Adbhuta Karmana. So Lord performs these wonderful activities. That's how Lord becomes Adbhuta Krishna. How wonderful is Krishna. So that is for us to re-establish our connection to Lord. But Mother Yashoda, she's already in the pastimes, and then she has a mellow. So she was bewildered by that. And then we saw how living entities are there in every part of the world. And then finally, every part of the universe. And then finally, we saw here in the last purport that Acharya's commentaries we have to take as it is. because they are directly being inspired by Krishna, and then so they can see the truth much better than us. So we need to take that as it is. So yeah, thank you so much for your patient hearing. 7:52. Yeah, any comments? Yeah, from first from Zoom, we have a yes, please.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for your wonderful class. You know, the first verse brought me back to when I was nursing a child, my children. And I have to say that when a mother nurses a child, there's a chemical reaction that occurs that creates intense feelings of love and affection and relaxation. It's a high. It's a real high. It also affects the baby. And most mothers will tell you that after the baby is finished nursing, they always look like they're drunk. So here, imagine you have Mother Yasoda nursing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And all of these wonderful feelings are swirling between her and Krishna. And Krishna gets caught up in the moment and says, oh, that's it, I'm going to show it to her. And he opens his mouth. And she's like, whoa. Of course, she's bewildered and just doesn't know what to do with that. It's an amazing, I don't want to say that it went from like a good trip to a bad trip, because she just really didn't know what to do with that. But just how wonderful that whole exchange is, really. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful story.
Thank you so much. So
thank you.
How babies also, so they get overwhelmed when they drink mother's milk. Yeah.
Yes.
For the experience. Thank you for reminding all of us. And then Krishna was actually, getting overwhelmed by that love of Mother Yashoda. And all of a sudden, he started showing his Virat Rupa. Yeah, that's very nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. Anybody? Yeah. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me okay? Yeah? Radha Swami has one disciple, the Sneha. You know Sneha? Is it the name he gave her means affection. They use that word in the verse. It's such a cool name. affection for Krishna. I can remember you were talking about the subject of how we should do our service with love for Krishna. And I can remember when I was in the Brahmacharya ashram, I was asked by the temple commander, now you do the offering, the morning breakfast offering, while the class is going on. And I said, well, you should have Radha do that because he has love for Krishna. I don't have any love for Krishna. It's supposed to be done with love. He said, Jesus said, if you love me, do what I tell you. That's the first thing. If you love me, that's how you show your love, by doing what you're told to do. And then he said, of course we have no love, but Prabhupada has love for Krishna. Our spiritual master has love for Krishna. So we offer it to our spiritual master and he adds the love. If you don't have it, offer it to your guru. But that's the way we do everything. We're offering it to Guru, even Kirtan, and then the Guru offers to Krishna. So the love is there. Even if we haven't, just do what you're asked to do. And then don't worry, it will be there.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, Bhakta, you go, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I love the story, right, of Mother Yashoda being so bewildered by seeing this, this universe in Krishna's little mouth. And just yesterday, I was catching up with a friend of mine. He's a devotee who recently completed a chaplaincy training, and now he's become a chaplain in a hospital. And he was kind of sharing some reflections with me and talking about how, as a chaplain, I mean, you see some pretty gruesome things. You come into the hospital room and some people are, passing away from burns, or, they're amputated, or, they're going through so much, or there's so sad stories. Maybe they've lost their family in an accident or what have you. So many terrible things. And he was sharing a reflection that actually that's a very sacred space. And one thing he was reflecting on is that when people are going through that pastime of death, of reaching their final moments, they're seeing the universal form of Krishna in a special way. They're seeing like all of the power and profundity of life and our experience of life. And he was relating it back to the Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna asks Krishna, Krishna, show me your universal form. And in chapter 11, Krishna does that. And it's described as gruesome, right? Krishna sees thousands of heads and thousands of arms and legs and mouths, and the mouths are crushing the universes. And Krishna says, time I am the destroyer of worlds. And so sometimes in the beginning of spiritual life, there's this conception like, oh, God is so great. He's everything, he's the universe and all this. And we can kind of be enamored by that. But in our devotional practice, as aspiring devotees in devotional service, as following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Gaudiya Vaishnava line, we're not interested in that form. Just like Mother Yashoda, because we know it's not pretty, it's scary. It's like there's so much going, we can't even handle it. It's just like, oh my goodness. And so just like Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita says, oh, Krishna, this is, I offer my respects, but please show me your original form again. This is kind of what we go for as devotees. We know, like, if that's your mood, sure, you can worship this universal form as the cosmic creation and everything. But for us, after listening to our acharyas and reading the Shastra and hearing from our friends and mentors in devotional service, we get the feeling that, no, I want to worship that flute playing cowherd boy, because it's just so loving and so sweet. So that was a reflection I had. Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the class.
Reflection. Yeah, Virat Rupa is like, it's just for regular worship. Once His Holiness Radharani Swami was telling that, if you want to offer bhoga to Virat Rupa, so how much we will offer? We have, kunds and kunds of dals, sabjis, everything. So that also not sufficient. So, two-hand form, Radha Muralidhar, so sweet for us. Thank you. Thank you so much. Just one point to conclude what Approachable was telling. Like, if we don't have sometime one disciple came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Srila Prabhupada, I don't feel like offering obeisances to you. And Srila Prabhupada said, that's all right. You offer first, and then, over a period of time, you will feel like offering. So it's like, so ours is Vaidhi Bhakti. So it's like we follow the path, and then all the feelings get manifested. Thank you so much. It's about to be 8 o'clock. It's still 1 minute remaining. It's 8 o'clock. Prabhu, Anand Bihari Prabhu. Somebody? Yeah.
Thank you very much. Beautiful class, Krishna Daya Prabhu. Evan, beautiful tech support. Okay.
So we should wait for people.
We have a few minutes.
Prabhu has one more.
You might think that we'd have to develop this love, but actually that's who we are. It's really there. Everybody is a loving being, and we've forgotten. And then the process of devotional service, it evokes that normal consciousness that we have. It's not something added on like a coat of paint, but it's there and it can come out. And everybody wants to do that. We long for that, right? We'll go to Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. So Prabhu was telling that. Yeah. So the love is inherent. It's a Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema, Sadhyaka Bhunai. So it's not we have to borrow from outside. The only thing is we have to uncover it by the process of sadhana bhakti, devotional service. So I think we are still having time. I don't know. Anand Bihari Prabhu, what to be done? Yeah.
I have a question. Did Mother Yashoda see any factories and all this climate change in Krishna's mouth, or just mountains and stars?
As per the purport, that is not mentioned, but she saw everything. So I don't know whether factories are there at that time, but yeah. So this past time happened twice. So the second time she saw herself also in Krishna, but I don't know whether factories are there or something.
Did she see Lower East Side, Tompkins Square Park? I hope we're there in the picture. Yeah, I really liked your point, how Krishna facilitates our love If we have a certain way of loving him, Krishna sees that and he facilitates that. And he also works in other people's life, I thought. If you don't want to be bothered by freshly born sweet baby Krishna, Krishna will leave you alone and let you enjoy the Virat Rupa and death and time and space and all that.
Yeah.
Krishna. But if you're a devotee, Krishna will accept our service. Like you said so wonderfully, Radha Muladhar is available to be served. Just amazing. And this morning, Bhagavatam class, Krishna Daya Prabhu, this is how we serve Radha Muladhar, and you're so wonderful that you came forward to speak today. You help us keeping it going.
Very good. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for your comments, for your active participation, for keeping your cameras on.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Krishna Daya Prabhu ki jai.